Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sunburnt podcast, where we love comedy and tropical travel. You know him from Netflix. You know him from his stand-up special, Move Closer. This is my co-host, Chip Chantry.
And right over here is my co-host and buddy, Emmy Award-winning writer and producer, Thomas O'Brien. How are you, my buddy?
How am I? I'm feeling like one today. Are you, Chip?
I'm one today. Are you one today, bud?
I am one today.
Let's do this. Let's get started. Let's get all blocked up, as I like to say.
Oh, we're getting screened, baby.
Getting screened, feeling good.
That's good. Oh, my God. Perfect. Well, Chip, we have an unbelievable episode today. We're going to be talking about my whirlwind trip to WrestleMania.
The mania of wrestling.
The mania of wrestling. I went. We're going to be talking about that. I mean, I can't take my eyes off it. That new Hawaiian you're wearing.
Look at it, baby. Look at it right here.
Woo! And we're also going to talk about where tech meets the tropics. We've got some technology news from tropical locations. We're ready to get after it.
Tropics Tech, here we come.
Stay tuned. Front desk.
Hi, this is Tom Hanks in room 803. Could you please set up some complimentary champagne and fruit?
If you're Tom Hanks, what character did you play in Grosse Pointe Blank?
Jeff.
Tom Hanks wasn't in Grosse
Tom Hanks
Pointe
wasn't
Blank.
in Grosse Pointe Blank.
Mr. Chantry, would you like this order charged to the room?
Yeah, I do feel like a castaway, though.
Chip, we are back. It's episode 10. The numbers are to the moon.
To the moon and back, my friend.
People are getting on board. They're having some fun. People have already told us they're smelling the sunscreen. It is, I don't know, dude. This is feeling like a little movement here. I'm having some fun.
We are Katy Perry in space right now.
Yeah.
That's how high up we're going.
I know. Yeah. Our ratings just surpassed Blue Origin in height.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. If you we talk about vacations, tropical vacations.
Yep.
If you really wanted to get closer to the sun and Jeff Bezos asked you, Tommy boy, I'm a fan of the pod. Would you like to go on the Blue Horizon? Do you want to go to space? Your answer is what?
I'm not going, Chip. I got too much to lose. Are you going?
I saw the Challenger explode on television when I was in third grade.
Oh, you did?
I am staying firmly planted on the ground, my friend.
His rocket, like if it's the one I've seen, is also embarrassingly shaped like a gentleman's privates.
It is. It's like Ace. It's literally like it's Ace and Gary. That's basically what it is. Robert Smigel's own. Robert Smigel, I believe, designed that phallic space force right there.
Yeah, that's a Smigel design if I ever saw one.
It's a bowling pin. It's a bowling pin. That's Bezos is just trying to say that. But yeah, no, I don't have a desire to go to. I mean, would it be cool to like float around? And do all this? Absolutely. If you could guarantee my safety, which you cannot.
You cannot. Yeah, it's a scary one. I think it is where you are in life. At certain points in my life, I would have gone up, no questions asked. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with space and space travel. I had this little book. It had a cassette tape, and it was just like, it took you from blast off, and then you were on a ship and went all through the solar system, and it was like an audio journey.
That's kind of great.
And I would wake up at 4 a.m, like multiple days a week, and just listen to that in the darkness of my room before school. I was just obsessed. And I've always loved the planets and stars and learning about all that kind of stuff. But at this point in my life, to go on a, questionable at best commercial rocket into space I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it right now. And, but have you been following that story? I don't follow anything. I don't know anything, but it's been loud enough that I've heard that people are really upset that Katy Perry went to space. Why do people care?
I think they're angry because okay, so, and again, I don't want to ruffle any feathers here. They didn't really go to space. I think that's the thing. They go up. It's like if you and I were in Hawaii, which we will be this November, and we want people to come on that trip with us. We won't be going to space for that one. It's like dipping our toes into the Pacific Ocean and saying, I just swam across the Pacific. Like that's their version of space. Do you know what I mean? Like they go up, it's like an 11-minute trip, I think, in total. I could be getting that wrong, but like literally you go up, you kind of sort of touch the stratosphere or one of the spheres. I don't know. So
Yeah.
you get out there, you float around for a minute, and then you come right back down. So it's not like they're orbiting the Earth. They're not going to the moon.
They kissed outer space and say they went all the way with it.
They touched the face of God and said they got to third base. And hey, good for them. I think it was Gail King was also one of them, and it was like I think it was all female. It was a whole female crew and the passengers. That's great. That's wonderful. But I think they came down and they're just like, we're astronauts now. We went to space, and people are like, hey, there's problems down here on Earth, and you're bragging because you're rich and you went to space, and that's what. So I think that's the blowback that people are getting. I haven't followed it that much either, but it's. So but then I think, and then it's one of those things too where they're just like, all right, we'll go. But then they're sort of pushing back even more now. We're like, no, we're really going to space.
Yeah.
And then people are just getting more and more angry. And it just, what should have been a nice, wonderful day has turned into just an all-out hate fest.
It seems like it should be nice. But, I mean, that's just a lesson that everybody should know. Jeff Bezos more than anybody. It's like, if you got a lot of stuff, enjoy it in private.
Yes.
Like you gotta keep people's noses out of it.
Yeah, like take Lady Gaga and Ryan Reynolds up into space, but like just do it on a Sunday afternoon when nobody's watching. Come back down and be like, oh yeah, what you guys do this weekend? Oh, we went bowling. It just doesn't matter.
If it's Reynolds, he gets to take a casual photo with the moon outside the window. You know what I mean?
And like, don't put a pinpoint of where you are.
Yeah.
I don't think you probably can't do that. Like where it's like where you put a location, it's like space.
I don't know how anything works, but yeah, that would be the location.
Speaking of locations, buddy. You went to a location this weekend.
I certainly went to a location. I went to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Super unexpected, but super exciting. The fine folks, some friends over at WWE, last minute invited me and my wife out to Vegas to go see WrestleMania and take part in all the stuff that was going on over there. And it was an unbelievable time, Chip. I had the most fun. And I will say this, the biggest takeaway that I can have from this event is that WWE has the most exciting, vibrant community of people I've ever seen come together for one event.
Oh, that's great.
It was really, really spectacular. Like, I haven't spent a lot of time in that world. Like, I enjoyed it when I was a child, but definitely wasn't going to these things, much less the Super Bowl of what that is. So WrestleMania is the big daddy of the year. It's like their biggest event.
Right.
They build storylines all year heading up to this thing. So it is a huge spectacle, and the production was unbelievable. But the people there, it was a group of people I've never seen before come together for one thing. It was so diverse. It was people from so many different backgrounds that all came together to celebrate this one thing. And it was really, really wild to see. It was really inspiring. There was 61,000 people in that stadium. All there to do the same thing. And it was not like a sporting event where everybody came in with their favorites, right? It wasn't there was no competition really in the audience except for like some friendly, I like this person a little more than that person. They were all there rooting for the event. They just wanted WrestleMania to be awesome. And they came together, and just so many people you wouldn't expect. There's like, the dudes wearing the T-shirts with the blood dripping off of it. And then there's like, a flamboyant aspect of these guys in, patent leather, like very tight suits. And like, you just think like, oh, maybe there would be a problem here. And there was no problem. They were celebrating each other's outfits. It was like a real positivity fest where I didn't know that's what I was going to be walking into.
That's amazing. Like, and just for like something that, again, say what you will about professional wrestling, like it's silly or it's barbaric or it's whatever. And it's like, no, it's great entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's bringing these people from all walks of life together. Like that's a feel-good story.
No, it was a feel-good story. And also, I think the bigger the buy-in, like everybody there had to pay a pretty steep ticket price.
Of course.
Everybody there had to get to one location, but it was worth it to be part of this community. It was almost like a church type environment where people were completely invested in this thing. And as my wife quickly started pointing out before I even noticed, there were so many sunburnt ones there, Chip. There were so many people rocking Hawaiian shirts, wearing smiles, having the time of their life. I was sitting next to this dude. I got the feeling he knew nothing about wrestling, but everything he saw going on kept him with like a 10-year-old smile on his face for 4 straight hours. I mean, he barely said a word. He was just in awe. He didn't like have a big reaction when stars came out or anything like a lot of people did. Like, you know, they know everybody's catchphrases. They know everybody's moves. They're screaming, give them the blah, blah, blah. They're super invested. This guy wasn't that. This guy was more like me. And he was just like taking it all in and enjoying the spectacle and the fandom of everything that was happening there.
That's just so cool to hear of like, again, you have the rabid fans and the screaming yell, but then you're just like, hey, I'm just here appreciating this. By the way, speaking of the moves, like, you know, you have all those, you know, crazy moves. Like would you have a signature move? Like, what would your signature move be? Like I'm very passive aggressive. I'm not a fighter. Like, I think mine would be like, give him the cold shoulder. And like, I would just like ignore him for a while. And then he would just get bored and like leave. And then I would win just from attrition, I think. Like, you just don't pay attention. Don't make eye contact with him for 5 minutes.
I think I turn to the crowd and scream, it's time to get litigious. And then my move is like, I serve him. You know, you've been served.
Yep. There's just a large manila envelope. You give it to him. You'd be like, sir, I think you hurt my arm when you put it in that bar. You will be hearing from my attorneys. I actually have a buddy, a good buddy of mine is I want to say he's AEW. I could be wrong about that. That's a different wrestler.
Okay. Like I did notice sometimes you have interaction from a professional wrestler on the socials, Chip.
That's actually somebody else. But my good friend, we came up through the comedy scene together. He was in a sketch group called Secret Pants. They're hilarious, and he is now a very well known referee. He's a referee. He's a okay. I don't think it's I think it's AEW.
Yeah.
But he is like, he travels the country with these guys and is a referee. He's great. Bryce Remsburg, great dude.
That's fun. Like I can tell you haven't seen one of these things in person now. The referee seems to have as big a job as anybody else in that ring.
It is like he like literally like I'll see like he'll post pictures and like they know who he is and like people will hold up signs for him.
Well, that's the fandom. That's what these like they are so deep into loving this thing and respecting this thing. And like the other thing I noticed was when you're that deep, when you're that invested in something, they weren't going to mess up this event by being too hammered, by starting a fight and getting kicked out. Like everybody was on really, really good behavior. There, I mean, 61,000 people. There might be stuff that I didn't see.
Sure.
But everybody was there to have a great time. And like when you have put in the effort to like learn the referees' names, who generally I don't think are even listed. Like that's not like a known quantity. Like you have to go look that up. Who's this person? What's their socials? I don't know how you track down that information, but to track it down and then commit it to memory, pretty remarkable stuff, dude.
I just love exactly what you're saying. And that thing about like not getting too hammered and just enjoying the entertainment, you know, and like I've gotten to that point. I think we've talked about this, but like I've gotten to the point where it's like I know my limits with my drinkies, my alkies, you know, and it's like I can get a nice buzz on and like enjoy a concert, enjoy a sporting event. I want to be. Here's what I want in life. I want to be that guy sitting next to you, the burnt one sitting next to you, just with a smile on his face. Taking it all. Hey, maybe he's on mushrooms. Whatever. Hey, good for him. You know, but he's just enjoying it. He's not. And you just see some people like at sporting events, whatever, or concerts where they're just puking or they're just getting in fights. They're screaming. They're just ruining everybody else's time. It's like if we can all just know what that nice buzz level is. It's like 4 beers. Okay, you're 4 beers, so it's like that's what you get today. You get your 4 beers and you feel good. We all come together and we all have fun. You know, that's what it is.
Coloring inside your personal lines, figuring out what works for you and staying there. That's the best way. Of course, people overindulge sometimes, Chip.
Yeah.
It happens, but
it's all right. It happens. It happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to me. It happens to me too.
I think it happens less when you've really put in the effort and sacrificed something to be someplace. You're going to take care of it. Like even me, like quick whirlwind trip to Vegas, which when me and my wife, we haven't done it in a long time. It was our first time leaving the being away from the baby in any capacity.
Oh, so like you had an overnight. That's your first
away game.
First away game without the kid.
Without the kid,
okay.
and it was.
How was that? Was that like? Did you wake up at like 4 a.m, either A, to read your astronomy book, or B, to like be like, wait, where's the baby? Like, did you have that moment?
No, Chip. What happened was, me and my wife we went to Vegas for 24 hours and came back the most rested we've been in a year. Like,
that does not happen in Las Vegas very often.
It's never happened to me, but it's like we're coloring inside our lines. There was opportunities like to go to clubs, and there was after parties, and there was, buses to different events. And kind of after the wrestling wound up, me and Alex was just like, I think I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
So we went back to our hotel room. We were in bed by like 10 o'clock. And we got to sleep. We had a breakfast reservation. We're going to wake up. We woke up in time and just look at each other. It's like, we can grab a bagel at the airport. Like, let's get a couple more winks in.
Yeah.
And we just slept straight through. We didn't have a baby monitor. We didn't have anything. We didn't have to keep anybody alive. We were just in that room to sleep, Chip.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
It was a beautiful thing. So, you
look rested, by the way. You look vibrant.
Thank
shiny.
you very much. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the island botanicals of Hawaiian Tropic that I've been, just sniffing in. What's a botanical, Chip?
Let me throw this back at you. What isn't a botanical?
Oh, that's a good point.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm really getting at, Thomas? What isn't a botanical?
I really don't know.
I feel a botanical is something. I mean, the botanical garden, so it has something to do with
gardens,
foliage.
Yeah, it's got to be plant-based, I guess. Plant-based in nature. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a mineral element to it either. I don't know, Chip.
We're gonna find out. I'm gonna find out what a botanical is. We're gonna get back to the good people, the burnt ones on here. I feel like it's one of those things though that like it's like I feel like every 5 years a shampoo, the big shampoo, I'll call them. The industry has to come up with a new, like, whether it's like a new weird sort of chemical or problem that like everybody latches on. It was like split ends, like that was a thing. It's like you never heard about split ends, and then it's like we rode the dandruff ride for a while. Dandruff, real thing. You got to deal with it. Okay,
it was, but it was a much bigger issue.
Yes. And then now there's that one where they it's a skin thing or a shampoo thing where they talk about hyaluronic acids. That's a new one, and they have fun with it, and they say I might not even be saying that correctly. But it's just like, oh yeah, we have hyaluronic acids in here. And you're like, okay, I need hyaluronic. It's like I feel like it's the same thing. It's like I need botanicals right now. Like oh man, I'm feeling sluggish today. Did you have your botanicals? I don't know. Like I feel like that's what. But I will tell you, whatever botanicals are, they are working because you got me into this, and I am loving putting this on every day, whether I'm going outside or not, just to get a little whiff of it.
It's nice, and it's sheer, which means we're a little sparkly. Our skin dances in the sun, Chip.
It really does. It dances in the dark. It dances in the sun. Sometimes it dirty dances. That's all I gotta say. That's our skin.
Lifts you up.
It really does. So, man, you had just that had to be the greatest 24 hours. And, like, you're not even, like, a diehard wrestling fan, right?
I have such fond, deep roots of wrestling when I was a child. And then
Me too.
During the pandemic, when absolutely nothing was going on, there was no major sports. There was no anything. Me and my little brother, who, he lives in Oregon. I live in California. We couldn't barely leave our respective houses, and we started watching a couple of matches there. It was during a time where there was no fans or anything, so like it was just something to return to. It was something familiar, and it was something to do with my brother, and we had a lot of fun with that for like a couple of months during the pandemic. But day in and day out, it's not like something I partake in.
I was hardcore from like second grade until middle school. Like I had that was like my one toy that I had. That really, like I had the wrestling ring, the WWF.
Oh wow,
ring.
The one from the commercial.
The one from the commercial. I had that ring, and I had about I think like 40 or 50 of the like the rubber. I think they were like 6-inch or 8-inch. I guess like 8-inch. The rubber wrestlers, and man, I had so much fun. My buddies would like bring theirs over, and like we'd fight each other. We'd do like a whole like WrestleMania or SummerSlam thing where we'd have like a tournament. And man, it was. And we used to go. I used to go to those down at the old Spectrum in Philadelphia. We used to go see.
No, because you lived in a big city. You had access to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so we would go down. Our dads. It was like my dad and his buddy would like take like the 4 kids down. And I'd be in like 2nd grade, and you'd be so scared because like it's Philadelphia in the 80s in the Spectrum, where not only are you seeing like these 300-pound men like murder each other, but just the crowds back then were just wild. Like,
I can only imagine.
It was such an education to me.
Was it WWE or was it something else? I know there was a lot of different promotions. At some point, it was like very regional. Philadelphia.
So this was when it was already like a national thing, like Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper.
And
Andre the Giant. So this was back in the WWF day, when it was still called WWF. But so this is the height of like Hogan was the champion, the British Bulldogs, the Killer Bees. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Greg the Hammer Valentine, all of those guys.
Oh,
Kamala.
Unbelievable!
Yeah, So it was great, and I was just like, that was my big thing for years. And I still have a lot of friends who like are really into it, and it's just like they just have just this fun love for it, which is great.
Probably the highlight for me of the whole thing wasn't even a match. It wasn't anything. I was a diehard Bret the Hitman Hart fan when I was a kid.
Oh, of course.
He the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. The excellence of execution. Bret the Hitman Hart. And during the night I was there on the Saturday night. There was 2 nights. We only got one. We were scared of being away from the baby. Bret the Hitman Hart came out to like kind of accept a award for a match he was in. I don't really understand it. It was like a Hall of Fame thing. He's already in the Hall of Fame apparently, but him and Steve Austin, Stone Cold, were there to be recognized for like this all-time match they had apparently. So I was just like, even though there was 61,000 people in that arena, for a moment, it was just me being like, I'm in the same room as Bret the Hitman Hart. It was unbelievable.
It's a beautiful thing. And you guys did make eye contact at one point, I'm assuming. He saw you.
Yeah. I think
there was a glance. He took off those wraparound shades.
Oh, man. He put them right on my head. That was my dream, dude. I always wanted to get those shades.
And he carried you off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he before a match, he would always come out and put the shades on a young fan's head.
On a little kid.
And that was the dream, dude. That was the dream. Like, someday we're going to go, me and my little brother, someday we're going to go. He's going to pick us. We're going to get the shades.
I still loved, I think it was Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
When he would get in the ring and then he would spit his gum out and slap it into the crowd. Like he would spit, because he was perfect. He could do it every time. Yeah. And he would just spit his gum out and smack it in midair out into the crowd. Just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Actually, okay, so I think I told you the story. We can get into it some other time. But my first time ever in California, my first time in LA was in 1989. I was in 6th grade. My little brother, who's in 3rd grade, won the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards sweepstakes.
Oh my God.
It's a true thing. Like when you would send in like the Nickelodeon like Toy Run or like all these contests where you would send in a postcard and like you never win those things, but like my brother won that.
When
he was in 3rd grade.
The odds are so great.
Stacked against us.
Yeah.
Stacked against us. But we won. Like we got a phone call and like my dad thought it was a scam. He's like, yeah, this is just like whatever. And she's like, no, you won. We're flying you and your family out to Los Angeles. My brother and I were on the Kids' Choice Awards in '89. We did this like a double dare kind of thing. And it was the best. And we met all of these celebrities that were on the show. And like it's Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards in '89. So it's not like, I mean, you're not getting A-list celebrities, but we're getting some solid B's and C's.
But they're the celebrities that matter to kids, I'm assuming.
To us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your dad is probably there like, okay.
Oh, my dad couldn't care. It's actually funny. My dad couldn't care less until the rap party. We were at the rap party.
Ooh.
it was on this beautiful like balcony in Universal Studios, like in the valley, like overlooking. Where's Universal? I guess it's Universal.
It's in the Universal City, Chip.
Universal City. That's
it's in the valley. It's next to Burbank.
Yeah. So we're in this beautiful balcony overlooking, the valley, and it's just great. And we're having a great time. My dad could care less. My dad actually yelled at a young Brian Austin Green, like not yelled at him, but like was just being a dad. Where like Brian Austin Green was there before we knew exactly who he was, and he was like messing around with somebody, and my dad's like, "You better not do that." And it's like, I was like, Dad, he's an actor. You can't tell him what to do.
He's got a middle name that you can't talk to him like that.
Exactly. He's 14 and he's been on Mr. Belvedere or whatever.
This is pre Beverly Hills 90210.
This is right before, maybe like 2 years before. And so my dad couldn't care less. And then my dad sees walking into the party one Mr. David Faustino.
The Faustino, dude.
Bud Bundy came in. And to this day, my dad still has a photo of me and him and Bud Bundy behind his bar in his basement in his house. And he was so excited to meet Bud Bundy. And who wouldn't be?
Funny story. One of the first show that was ever like my show to work on, it was back in the day. It was like I was very young, and when you hear about what the show was, you'll understand why a young gun like myself at the time was given it. It was a comedy clip show aimed at families. So it was like a America's Funniest Home Video type competitor.
Sure.
And the host was none other than Mr. David Faustino. I've spent 50, 60, 70 hours doing BO sessions and recording sessions with Mr. Faustino, and a true professional, a true gentleman. I wish him the best. But it's so funny that we have the Faustino connection. It's like our early Hollywood days.
Yes.
Full of Faustino.
Both have I'm trying to think what his rap, he had a rap name.
He did. I do not remember that, but he was big into like the local rap culture. He had like a show here he would do with people.
Yeah, it was like I think it was called the Outlaw Posse. Maybe he was in a group.
There was so many posses back in the day. Who could keep them all together? There was the posse, the insane clown posse.
I don't know how you kept track. I mean, you made reservations at a restaurant. Like, you really have to specify which posse you are, party of six.
You could be a little loosey-goosey with what posse you're in just to hope they think you're a better posse. Maybe you get a better reservation, a better table.
So, but anyway, back to when we're meeting all these stars.
Yeah.
One of the other pictures that we had in our basement for a long time, I'm sure it's somewhere now still, is a picture of my third grade brother with Bobby the Brain Heenan in a headlock.
Whew.
Bobby the Brain Heenan, the manager extraordinaire, WWF. He was a bad guy, everybody hated him. But he was there, and he was, there to give an award, whatever. He was there, and he was very sweet to my brother, but it was kind of mean to him, because that's the shtick. But my brother they had a professional photographer going around them and sent us a bunch of, but that was a big one of like him with Bobby the Brain Heenan in a headlock.
Unbelievable! What an experience!
Okay, I'll tell this story real quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're backstage, and so they take me and him. So we were sitting in the audience for the whole show. Like, we were like the second row, but the hosts of the show were sitting directly behind us because they were like teen hosts. So they sat like
Neil Patrick Harris.
We're just in the crowd. You're very close, very close. The same era. The Stand By Me's only Will Wheaton.
Oh wow, Wheaton.
And she was in Charles in Charge, and I think she has a food truck now. That's what I know about her. Nicole Eggert.
Okay.
And I think she was on Baywatch, too. So it was Will Wheaton and Nicole Eggert.
Does she run Eggert Slut?
Eggert Slut, yes. Just the best egg place in the world.
That's a play on the food truck, The Egg Slut, which also has an output in Las Vegas where me and Chip Chantry have dined before.
The best egg sandwich.
I wasn't saying anything about Miss Eggert.
No, it's just a play on words. But I think she actually has. It's like an ice cream truck or it's something like that.
That's ahead of her time. Who doesn't want an ice cream truck coming down the road?
Everybody does. And so but before the show, they took us backstage and we're going around to we're meeting all these celebrities. Like, oh, it's the younger brother from Growing Pains. It's Sarah Gilbert from Roseanne. All of these. Oh, it's the guy who played Buck on the movie
Uncle
The Great
Buck.
Outdoors. Yes, different John Candy movie. Yes, but so at one point they realized they didn't need me. Because Adam is the winner. He's the sweepstakes winner, so they're taking pictures with him. So they're just like, oh, Chip, here, we're going to give you a dressing room. You just hang out here for a little bit. And they threw me into this glorified closet.
Yeah.
I will say it did have the mirror with the light bulbs around it.
That's pretty
you
cool.
Would see, these are my vaudevillian days. And I was a very shy, anxious 12-year-old kid, but I also knew that I wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
I've never met a stand-up comedian before, and I was like, I'm in L.A. Maybe I will meet a stand-up comedian, and they will give me my big break, and that's what I want to do. And so I'm just sitting in this tiny little room for 20 minutes. I think they might have forgotten about me. I don't know, but I can't go anywhere. They told me they're just stay in here until we come get you.
This is what it feels like to be number 2 on any call sheet, Chip. You realize you were the number 2.
Absolutely. So I'm just sitting there, just waiting my turn, and all of a sudden, the door flies open. Just boom. I turn around. And again, this is a closet. It is a 6x6 room. It's tiny. And all of a sudden, there is a gigantic man who looks like a serial killer, and just the crazy googly eyes, sweating like crazy, shaking, looking at me.
I'm intrigued.
It's one Mr. Charles Fleischer, the voice of Roger Rabbit.
Ooh.
From Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and also a stand-up comedian and voice actor.
This is huge, Chip.
Kind of crazy person.
Yeah.
And he just looks at me. I look at him. I'm very scared. He's scared of me. That's what they say about Charles Fleischer. Charles Fleischer's just as afraid of you as you are of him.
The classic saying.
Right. And he was like, oh, hey, buddy. And then I was like, hi. And then he just slams the door behind him. So it's just him and I in this tiny little room. And then he just turns away from me, looks into the camera, or not the camera, into the mirror, and just goes, for 5 minutes, just goes, which he's doing his vocal warm-ups.
Yeah.
But I don't know this.
Uh-huh.
And he's just freaking out. Also, by the way, I don't want to cast aspersions on the man. I don't know anything about him. But it was 1989.
Yeah.
He is a comedian in Los Angeles, and he was shaking and sweating. That's all I'm going to say, okay?
I'm surprised. 1989 in Los Angeles, I'm surprised you weren't doing cocaine, Chip.
They did have it in the water. The water system was fluoride and cocaine.
Yeah.
And we had to stay awake somehow.
Uh-huh.
And so then he just he does that for 5 minutes. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is my future. This is who I'm going to become someday.
Uh-huh.
And then he stops his warm-ups. He turns and looks at me and goes, all right, buddy, see you later. And then just runs out and slams the door behind him.
That's truly an unhinged moment.
That was my first ever interaction with a stand-up comedian.
What was running through your head, though? Was there fear? It sounds like he's absolutely freaking out. And did you recognize him immediately? You're like, that's the guy from Roger Rabbit. That's the stand-up comedian. How did that process play out?
I did recognize him, but it's kind of like seeing your math teacher at the mall. You know, you're just it's the context isn't right, so you're like, that's that guy, but I wasn't expecting him to look like this, and this close to me, and sweating and shaking and just being gigantic, and then doing those things into that mirror. Yeah. So it was jarring. I'm gonna say that it was jarring. But hey, I met a stand-up comedian. Yeah,
you did. And how? Just something we've talked about in this show before. How would you compare his vibe to, say, a Vincent Price walks into that room?
He did not have a spear. He did not tie me to a tiki pole.
Okay.
But he was definitely dastardly, if I could say that.
Yeah.
Very, very dastardly. Yeah, he was as much of a curmudgeon as Professor Vincent Price in that episode of The Brady Bunch.
So the big difference is how he responded to young boys in a confined space.
Yes. Yeah, there was Yeah, there was no leaving me for dead. He did technically leave me for dead. He didn't know.
He didn't ask, where's your parents? Can I get you a snack?
Where's your parents? Anything like that. They're just like, oh, here's a boy in a closet. I'm going to do my vocal warm-ups and then leave him in the closet.
But he also didn't see you and just fill his head with dollar signs. He wasn't going to leverage your life or well-being for cash, which Vincent Price in that Brady Bunch episode certainly would have.
100% did. And no, he was kind enough to me. So I would have to say, on a scale of him to Vincent Price, he is up above Vincent Price as far as being nice and not being as evil and lurking.
Well, Chip, that is an unbelievable story. I would pretend that I haven't heard it before, but I've never heard it from you. I've heard it from your father.
Oh, that's right.
So there was a lot of different colors used in that painting.
Yeah. That's right. He did. My dad did have you at the comedy club years ago, and he probably, because you're from LA, and he's like, here's my LA story.
No, it was a great story. It was a delightful conversation, just from a different POV.
Yeah. You're getting the chipster right here.
I know. That's a lot of Chantry in surround sound. That's Chantry 360, I like to call it.
If you put your headphones on, we will for this right now, for the next part of this episode, or actually the last part, we'll have my father telling his story and mine together. So it's kind of like a Dark Side of the Moon, Wizard of Oz kind of thing. It matches up sometimes.
Yeah, and a lot of people say the experience is magical.
It 100% is. Majestic.
Well, and I believe the last name Chantry, that does involve chanting, right? It's something monk-like.
It is like a it's Welsh. I know that, and we're from the great land of Wales. But it's like a chantry. I think is like a chant. It's like like the Gregorian, the monks like chanting. So it's like a chant, and I think it's also like the building or the room they would go to sing or to chant. So we're going into the chantry now.
Well, so I mean, it's your namesake. Like your father, you in stereo telling the same story from a different perspective. I think that might be what brings, like in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, that might be the thing that puts the universe back in order.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
All right.
Not disagreeing.
Well,
and O'Brien is Irish, of course, and it's
Irish AF.
Irish AF, and I believe it means O'Brien is like, some kid from middle school. I feel like is that what that means?
Yeah, if you grew up in an Irish neighborhood, for sure.
Yeah, there was like 7 of them. Yeah,
it's actually short for of Brian.
Okay.
And it's just linking you back to the High King of Ireland back in the day, Brian Boru.
Oh, look at that.
So you're a descendant of that person. And I looked like crazy. I could not find because when I went to Ireland, I wanted to go to where my, kind of family originated from and where they came from. And I was able to trace back many, many, many generations and find out Maurice O'Brien left the Emerald Isle during the potato famine, went to Canada. But that's kind of where the train stopped. But I was like, I know we had a castle. There's castles everywhere. Where's the O'Brien castle?
Wow.
Where's the one we actually lived in? And just by accident, Chip, me and my wife, we're taking a road trip around the whole bottom part of the island, from Dublin all the way down around the Horn, up through Dingle, up to Galway, and then back across. And we stopped at this place called the Rock of Cashel, which is like a ancient church where St. Patrick, I think, stopped by a couple of those figures from Irish history. It was like a hub of these people coming through. And when we were there, I found out that this is where Brian Boru's castle was, and they tore it down to build this church. So on accident, even though I couldn't find it online or anything, on accident, I ended up on the hillside where the family castle lay.
Wow. That is pretty amazing. That must have been majestic. I hope you have a photo memory of that.
I have so many actual photos, Chip. So many actual photos. I'll pop one up. If I remember.
Pop one up. I want to see. I definitely want to see it. I went to Wales to try to find the chantry that was from where they would chant, and I actually did. It was outside of Cardiff, and I actually did find it. It was in this sort of kind of bog sort of area, like this it's not a fjord, that's up north, but like, just this grassy area. And there is the actual building that housed the monks that would chant. Only problem was you could tell it definitely used to be a Pizza Hut.
Things keep modernizing. Yeah, and largely that church now is a gift shop, I believe. We take history, we monetize it. We put pizzas and pizza manufacturing plants inside of it. It's just the way human nature works, Chip. And speaking of commerce, speaking of making pizzas, making things, making items, that's a brand new shirt, buddy. That is a brand new shirt. Everybody drink this in. And don't you love it when your friend gets a new clothing item that freaking works for him? It's a very exciting time.
It's got a collar that pops. I'm so excited about it. I got
that collar
popping up, baby. I want to call it a Hawaiian shirt. So there are definitely palm trees on it. There's a couple of buildings on it.
Yeah.
Like I think there's some ocean seascapes on the shirt. I have to say it's not truly Hawaiian though. It is Hawaiian adjacent. It is I'm going to call it if I don't want to get this wrong, but it is a Cambodian Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, I love it.
From a wonderful old Cambodian lady at the Southeast Asian Market in Philadelphia this weekend. My wife and I did not get to go to WrestleMania, but we did go to Noodle Mania at the Southeast Asian Market. Philadelphia's hidden gem. If you are listening from Philadelphia right now and you've never been, it is amazing. It's in FDR Park, which is just a little walk from where I live. So we walk down. It's every Saturday and Sunday morning from April until October, 6 months out of the year. You can go down there. It's down by the lake in FDR Park, and it's just this giant, I want to call it flea mark / carnival of just like, it's just rows of all of these tents but everybody's cooking up. They're just, everybody's got a charcoal grill, or they might have like a skillet, and they're making noodles. They're making shrimp. They're making chicken skewers. They're making, they're literally like deep frying these like sesame balls. They're making fried bananas, fried sweet potatoes. Like it's so good. The first thing we always do, we go to King Coffee and we get our Vietnamese iced coffee.
You took me to a Vietnamese iced coffee when I was in Philly. That'll blow your hair back.
It is caffeinated. It is sugary. It is delicious. I don't put sugar in my coffee. Just a little cream. That's all I ever do. But on those special days when I do get a Vietnamese iced coffee, it's already in there. You don't have to put it in. It is sugary. There's condensed milk. It is a milkshake of coffee. It is delicious. It's our favorite thing.
Isn't it funny that like as a grown up, and I do the same thing. It's like we have special days where we can drink tasty coffee, sugary coffee, sugary treat drink. It's like it's a special day thing.
After this, honestly, I am going out to a little brunch with the lady, and I think I might get myself a Vietnamese iced coffee.
Oh, well, that's exciting. I mean, a Vietnamese coffee, that shirt, that's quite a brunch for the lady, Chip.
She has, let's just say she's gonna have a lot to drink in. We go all the time to the Southeast Asian Market. It's like amazing, it's like just cuisines from, and it's like all these little businesses in Philadelphia, these restaurants and such. So it's like people from Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia. It's just, and the food is incredible. Everybody's super cool. I always focused on the food in the past. There's just a handful of stands that sell clothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is obviously like, very, from their country. It's something it's a lot of women's clothing, so I don't pay attention too much. But I walk past this one clothing stand and I just saw this beauty right here. This shirt with some palm trees on it that a year ago I've been like, that's not for me. You have declared yourself a Hawaiian shirt guy. I'm becoming that as well, Thomas, too. And I got so excited. I got this baby for $25. Fits me perfectly. It's kind of got a linen feel to it. And I am just a different human being when I put it on.
Well, Chip, it looks spectacular. I love it. And I think, God, we got to find an expert. We got to find somebody to talk to, because there is a distinction, I think, between Hawaiian shirts and more, what's the term? I've heard jungle shirts, maybe.
Okay, that sounds like a fun thing.
Jungle
shirts, tropical shirts.
There's tropical shirts, but no, like I think there's a distinction. Like Hawaiian is like the Hawaiian flowers, it's whatever, and then there's jungle shirts, which is like a tropical jungle. It's like more what you would have in Cambodia, I think, more Thailand, more those types of patterns.
Right.
And the most recent season of the White Lotus had just an unbelievable array of what I would call Hawaiian shirts, but maybe there's some other names for them. Of Hawaiian-like shirts worn by the cast. Just beautiful. Unbelievable shirt after unbelievable shirt. I would love to find an expert that could break down some of those looks for us.
We're on the lookout.
If you're an expert in Hawaiian shirts, let us know. We would love to talk about the looks on White Lotus season 3. Just ended up a great, meaningful season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And before we get off the topic of shirts, you did Southeast Asian market.
Yeah.
I had in my notes that you wanted to just walk us through a couple of the accents you might hear as you're walking through that market.
You know what? I feel like we're going to leave that for the next episode.
Okay.
Let's put that in the notes for the next episode.
All right. Next episode.
Yeah.
And it's also like, is that a Philadelphia thing? You just take some kind of origin people group and put market at the end. The Italian market.
The Italian market. I lived in the Italian market for a while. Yeah, because you had these neighborhoods. These immigrants would come, and that's where they would set up. And it's just so you just throw market. It's like the Canadian market. Maybe I don't know. There might be a Canadian market somewhere.
Yeah, that's a heavily syruped market.
The Swedish market. It's. Yeah, they have. Actually, I say Swedish. There is literally the Swedish History Museum right across the lake from the Southeast Asian market. So,
a lot of museums too. You guys are museum and market heavy.
Yeah, lots of museums, lots of markets. Yeah, lots of fun, lots of goodness.
More importantly, lots of fun.
Yeah,
lots of fun. Is it was being a teacher in Philadelphia just museum and market field trips after museum and market field trips?
There was no shortage of places to go. It's usually like historic. It's always like, here's how you lived in the 1700s. Because we would go to William Penn's house. Like we would go to his estate.
Yeah.
Pennsbury Manor, I think it's called. And we would go and they would show us this is how they milk the cows, and this is how they blacksmithed and such. So yeah, and then you would go to the zoo. You would go to the Franklin Institute. So Ben Franklin's the namesake, where he was like a kids museum. Yeah, there are always places to go. Where did you go on field trips when you were a kid?
There was not a dearth of opportunities for meaningful field trips.
Well, I think what they would do sometimes is say, "Hey, kids, we're going on a field trip. Put on your headphones, close your eyes. You're going to space."
Yeah,
and you would do the solar system trip.
But there was a lot of hate. There was a lot of hate if you went to space and another class didn't. They would write
and then you're
terrible.
Pushing it in their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially, it's just like, how did you get on that, Thomas? I thought this was supposed to be an all-female trip to outer space. And then there was even some legitimacy questions, like, did you even go mentally to space, or did you just kiss the sky?
You just touched the face of space and then came back.
And we're calling back to Katy Perry at the moment. Yeah. I will say this about Katy Perry. Just a banger after banger, Chip.
She roars. She has fireworks. They're great.
She really does. Me and my wife saw her Vegas show a couple of years back, and it was one of those situations where I went in being like, I'll probably know a couple of these songs. Mm-hmm. It'll be a nice time. You know every song. It's just one of those catalogs that you don't even know it till you know it, but you know every song and you have like some vague positive memories associated with it. I don't know exactly what she did to make all those people so angry, but I hope it works out for her. I hope everything smooths over and everything's okay, and whatever wrongs she has done are forgotten and atoned for.
Absolutely. Speaking of technology and the future, going into space, we should probably go into space right now in a tropical setting.
Let's do it.
We found some articles, I think, because when you think of like going on a tropical vacation. I feel like you're kind of going into the past. It is Castaway. It is You're just feeling like, all right, we're going back in time, but we are in the 21st century and they are moving ahead, which I think is really cool. Which one do you want to jump into first, Thomas? We got two of them.
Let's talk about cleaning up those beaches, Shep.
We got Bebot.
Bebot.
You sent me this article. I just loved it. Is this little Bebot's this little guy? He's the Wall-E of the tropics.
He really is.
It's this little like remote control electric. So there's no hard, fumes, exhaust coming out. It's electric. He's this little remote control guy. Little, I mean, he's big.
Yeah.
He's like a gigantic lawnmower, basically, that sifts and cleans up beaches everywhere. He just does it out of the goodness of his little robot heart. And he goes through. He's basically like a beach Roomba.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he's going up and down the sand. He's pulling everything out. He's pulling cigarette butts. He's pulling broken flip-flops. He's pulling, in worst cases, hypodermic needles right out of the sand, and then he eats it in his little robot tummy and takes it away from the beach, and he leaves just a pristine, flat, welcoming piece of sand in his wake. It's I don't know. I saw it. It was really exciting. It made me happy.
It really did, and it's because I go to Ocean City, New Jersey a lot, and in the mornings they have these giant tractors that are just like pulling stuff behind, and which is fine. It's like super early in the morning, but it's like, oh, Bebot could be out doing this without all the noise and without all that. He's apparently really quiet. He just does his thing. He can hold up to 200 pounds of garbage at a time, and then they empty him out. What a nice little guy.
Little guy, unless, that's also, the weight of a dead body.
Okay, so I am dreading the day in a couple months when we get the story that Bebot ate a kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just a kid's taking a little nippity nap on the beach. Parents are playing volleyball, and all of a sudden he just swallowed up a toddler.
Yeah, that kid looked like trash. That's why you got to keep your kids looking clean. Because I mean, there's a dark side to Bebot.
There really is. He hungers for the youth and is going to come after them. He's got a couple of dogs in there, a couple of children. He's got a tween or two that he's going to go rogue. When the robots come for us, which they already are. I feel like Bebot's doing such a good thing now. I think he's going to get sick of it because it's like, who am I that I have to clean up your cigarette butts on the beach?
Right.
And there's going to be an attitude after a while. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
He's going to start eating people. It's going to be, he's a land shark is really what he is. He is Jaws of the beach. And I think when that happens, I'm going to side with Bebot.
That's where the power dynamic shifts between these robots. Because, like, arguably he has one of the worst jobs robots will have. Right?
Yes.
He's a janitor bot, but he's got a great location to work.
If you're a robot, you could build cars.
Exactly.
You could help people around the grocery store. You could be an actor and be in Star Wars.
That's true.
There's all of these jobs that you can do. But he's out on the beach. He's getting some sun. I will say that. It's nice.
It's a nice environment to work in, and honestly, there's been plenty of days when I was just like, I could have been a lifeguard for a living, and I'm dealing with all this. Not that that's not a stressful job, as Rescue High Surf shows us week in and week out on the Fox network. Bring back Rescue High Surf.
Yeah.
Give us at least one more season. I really enjoyed it. I haven't heard any news on a season 2 pickup. But the thinking here is because he has a worse job, he's going to be angrier at humans potentially. But I don't know. I think it's the high status robots that are going to be eviler. I think it's going to inflate their egos. It's going to make them want to take over mankind. They're going to have more skills to do it. He will be able to eat up to 200 pounds of human flesh, but that's nothing compared to a robot that figures out how to make an axe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right, Tommy. I'm seeing it now. I think he could rise up, but how far can he go? How far off the shore can he go?
He looks so friendly. He's so helpful. Some people might even say he's the equivalent of, I don't know, a land dolphin?
Yes, he is a land dolphin.
Which brings us to our next story.
Yeah.
Google, in all of their infinite AI wisdom, has devoted a large chunk of resources and I believe an open source purpose-built model of artificial intelligence dedicated to learning the dolphin language, Chip.
Google is becoming Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Googlittle.
Dr. Googlittle. They're using AI. One of the only ways that I'm getting really excited about AI, they want to learn not only to try to decipher dolphins' dialects, but then also communicate with them, like give it back to them. Be like, click, 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 ah, ah, ah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, hey, now we can talk to dolphins. So apparently there's this woman, this researcher, I forget her name, but for like 40 years, she has been collecting dolphin sounds, like dolphin language, and trying to decipher it. But obviously it's extremely difficult. I think the one thing that they sort of deciphered is that like a mother would give out like a specific, like, because I guess it's like clicks, whistles, and then like the little laughing things. It feels like they're mocking us.
Yeah.
But it's like a click or a whistle that a mother would give out when her children dolphin are kind of like out far, and then they would come back to see her. So it's kind of like when your mom would be like, Thomas O'Brien, get in here, dinner time. You know?
Yeah,
like
my mom had a whistle. My mom had a whistle that was very distinct, could bring us back from blocks away.
Right, exactly. So then you're like, oh, boom. So they figure that out. But that, like, it's been 40 years and they're doing that, but now they're putting it into AI, and they're taking all this in and trying to figure out the sound waves, figure out what works when. They're watching these specific dolphins, and then they're trying to mimic those sounds and then see if they can. So I think that's kind of cool. Like, what they're going to do is they're going to have, like, two guys in the water with, like, scuba gear on. And here's something I learned from this article. Dolphins love scarves. They love a good scarf.
They love to play with a nice scarf?
They love to play with a nice scarf. So what they'll do is they'll make up a sound that they think might be like, hey, give me the scarf. And so the one scuba guy will, like, he has something like on it, like a radio pack or whatever, where he transmits that sound like, scarf.
Yeah.
And so then the other guy gives him the scarf. And then the dolphins are watching these two guys, and the other guy's like, scarf. And then he gives him the scarf. And then they're watching. So then they're hoping that the dolphins will then make that same sound. They'll give them the scarf, Pavlov, then they learn that, like, oh, this is the word for scarf that we just made up. And then we're gonna communicate with them.
The equivalent of teaching dolphins Klingon. They're making up a language. They're hoping these dolphins can grab onto it. That's incredible. That's wild. Yeah. They'll be able to talk with a very select group of educated dolphins.
And by the way, I don't know how far you read into this. They've actually, so that woman had deciphered that thing with the children. With AI's technology, it's leaps and bounds. They are just moving at light speed. They've already deciphered a bunch of things that dolphins have. They understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Do you want to see? Do you want to hear the list?
Yes.
All right. So these are some of the most common things that dolphins are apparently saying to human beings now that they're learning through AI. So the first one is, enough with the goddamn beach ball already. It's like, hey, we thought they were having fun with it. Apparently, they've gotten on. I'm so sick of smelt. Get me a quarter pounder. They give them those fish all the time, and they're just like, I just want something. The next thing they say, apparently they say this a lot, Flipper was a total prick in real life. Apparently that actor, that dolphin porpoise actor who played Flipper, not a good person, not a good mammal.
If you have one stinker in a pod, it really screws things up.
It really does. Here's another one. I think this is an interesting one that dolphins say a lot to human beings. Now we're just realizing this is what they're saying. Like, they get up on their fins, like, They're saying, we have proof that OJ did it. I mean, this is 30 years in the works. So they've been trying to tell us that they have the stone cold proof, but I don't know how they got it. Here's another one. Apparently, they ask questions, too. One of the things that they say to trainers a lot that we're just learning is, got any blow? Which I didn't know that dolphins dabbled in that. I'm not judging, but I'm just saying, I don't know.
Under the sea, they're still stuck in the 80s, 90s. There's a lot of neons. There's a lot of light blue.
Yes. Oh, and actually, speaking of which, because they are back in that time period, another thing they say all the time is Tiger King rules. So dolphins are about 5 years behind in Netflix series.
Yeah, they're getting to the pandemic binges.
They're really into Tiger King right now. So, but they're catching up, and I think that's good. Here's another one. This one's apparently a number of dolphins have said this. Please don't leave us alone with Gary the trainer. So I don't know exactly what that means, but they're asking that.
Gary.
Apparently they just keep calling sharks water sluts.
Oh, that's what classic insult.
Yeah, they hate sharks, and they know they're like one of the only things that can kill sharks.
Yeah.
So they really have a number of slurs. Some of them I'm not going to say on this podcast for sharks. I mean, really some foul language.
They can kill them physically, but they're also murdering these sharks verbally.
Roast battling these sharks.
Really taking care of their confidence.
Here's another one that they've just heard out in the wild that they say. That dolphins say, "Stay out of this, Melissa. This is between me and your dad." So I think we think dolphins are very majestic creatures. But they have their own dynamics and problems.
Everybody has family issues.
Mm-hmm. Here's another interesting one. Chemtrails are turning your kid gay.
Ooh.
So I think some of them are into conspiracy theories. Which, you don't know what they're listening to. I mean, they're getting radio waves from, different AM stations around the area. They're listening to these things.
Yeah, and a lot of them do live, in Florida.
Right. Exactly.
I think it's a hub for some of those types of ideas to originate out of. Yeah, conspiracy theory. I mean, I get it. You live underwater, you breathe air. You're going to think maybe everything's not as it seems.
Exactly. I have more questions than answers. Mm-hmm. And finally, again, this one a little shaky. Hey, stay away from my blowhole, Gary. I don't know what Gary's doing, but...
Well, it sounds like he's getting a little close to the rim at the very least.
Exactly. Here's I love this, but I'm getting a little afraid. This is interspecies communication. This is the first time ever. I mean, sure, we have like Coco the gorilla.
Yep.
We're sign language and that stuff. So we're getting that. But this might be the first time where we actually verbally can talk back and forth with dolphins. This is with another species. Like, this is a can of worms that we're opening that I'm getting nervous about.
And you should be. It's going to happen. I've never been more sure of it. I do quite a bit of work in the AI space.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of amazing things happening, a lot of breakthroughs happening, but one of the biggest communication breakthroughs I've seen in this lifetime was during the watch of episode 2 of the Brady Bunch in Hawaii. I was doing the watch. I was taking my notes. I took it on a legal pad just like this, and when I take notes on the legal pad while I'm watching, the handwriting's a mess, and I legitimately could not decipher cleanly what 80% of it I had jotted down. I took a picture of my notebook, uploaded it to ChatGPT, and asked it to transcribe it into a nice, clean sheet. And it just 100%, it got every scribble, every whatever, turned it into a word that made sense, and literally transcribed the whole thing for me in seconds when I could not read my own writing very well. It's an incredible communication tool.
It's spooky.
It is spooky. So these dolphins, I mean, I think this article is probably old. They're probably having fluent conversations with dolphins right now. I'd have to imagine. At the speed AI is bridging communications, they've got all that data. This woman's been down there with a recorder for 40 years, getting the different sounds, getting the variations of sounds, the different, they're in there trying to figure out dolphin accents, Chip. Not every dolphin's going to have the same way of speaking. There's going to be the Boston dolphin.
Right. The Philadelphia dolphin, like the South Jersey Shore dolphin, like yo, jump in the water here, The Southern dolphins, they're they're going to have that drawl. I get it, buddy.
Yeah. If you have a favorite dolphin accent, drop a comment down below.
Yeah, what is your favorite dolphin accent? My problem is once we hear them and we know what they're saying, we're not going to be able to unhear them.
Yeah.
It's just sounds now. But if AI is really good enough where we know what they're saying, we might not ever be able to go to SeaWorld. Not that SeaWorld or the beach again.
Yeah.
If we hear dolphins, but we're just like, oh, they're just saying it. But if we can actually hear what and understand what they're saying, what if they're just mocking us or catcalling us the whole time?
That's true.
You know what I mean? You're just laying on the beach. You want to have a good time, and they're just like, yo, fatty, come out here and swim some laps so you can lose those man boobs. And you're like, no, that's it's just. Send your lady here and let her swim with a real mammal. Just like, oh, he's trying to steal my girl. She knows it too.
Yeah. I mean, they're frisky, they're good looking, they're fast, they're athletic. If they start trying to steal your girl, there's some real issues that we're all going to have to deal with. I also think...
Hey, two legs, come on out here and try to hold your breath for 8 minutes. They're just mocking us. Just mocking us. They're just coming after us, Thomas.
I also think there's a high probability that they might just constantly gaslight us.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just letting you know, that we did something wrong to them and something we didn't mean to be an insult was insulting and made them feel bad about their childhood. I also think, and this is probably closer to the truth of what will happen, but they'll just be like, the water hurts now, and it's because of what you guys are doing to it. Stop destroying our home.
Please stop. Just get away.
Yeah. Just stop it. And there also might be political. They could have some strong feelings about tariffs, immigration. With a migratory animal like that, they're going to have some immigration thoughts.
Absolutely.
And are we going to want to hear it?
I don't know. It could get real. Like, what's Thanksgiving dinner going to be like with these dolphins? That's what I want to know. It's going to be touchy.
That's what I want to know on November 26th. In Hawaii, Chip Chantry's Thanksgiving in Paradise. We're going to Hawaii. We want as many of you that love comedy and tropical vacations and think that sounds like an exciting mixture to come with us as possible. Tickets are for sale right now on the Blue Note Hawaii webpage. November 26th, Thanksgiving in Paradise with Chip Chantry coming out to Waikiki. We're going to have a great time.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited. Maybe there'll be some dolphins in the audience. You don't know. Maybe they'll be heckling me. I don't. Maybe I'll get a dolphin to open for me. Maybe like a guest spot.
This is a promise. This is a guarantee. If technology beats us, there will be a dolphin stand-up comedian opening, or is it stand-up if it's a dolphin?
I don't know what they will do. Maybe I'll be opening for the dolphin at that point.
Oh my God. Yeah, dolphin comedian could be huge. They do great on the socials. Oh my goodness.
Take my reef, please. Yeah.
Well, geez, Pete. So either Chip will be opening for a dolphin or a dolphin will be opening for Chip if the technology beats us to November 26th. That's a guarantee you have here. The ticket prices will stay the same. You won't need to exchange tickets, so go on there, buy now. And regardless of the lineup, you'll pay one flat fee for that ticket. But look into it. We're getting so excited. It's something we've been talking about and thinking about forever. It's something we desperately wanted to bring into the universe this year. Chip Chantry's Thanksgiving in Paradise in Waikiki, November 26th. We're going to be in Waikiki the whole week having some fun. Come join.
Yeah.
All right, Chip. Well, I'm looking at the clock here. We have to get going so you can get to that brunch.
Brunch, baby.
But I had so much fun doing this with you today. As always, thank you. It's great to hang out and catch up. And to all the burnt ones out there, thanks for watching.
See you guys next time.
Front desk.
Hi, this is Tom Hanks in room 803. Could you please set up some complimentary champagne and fruit?
Mr. Chantry is the name on the room.
That's what I go by. I'm Tom Hanks, the actor. So please just set up some complimentary champagne and fruit.
Mr. Chantry, would you like this order charged to the room?
Yeah, I do feel like a castaway, though.